Hey everyone, it's Jacob Krieg with Small Engine Warehouse, and today we're going to be teaching you how to maintain your leaf blower. Regular maintenance is the key to make sure your leaf blower and its engine are running at peak performance. So I've put together 5 important things that you need to do to make sure you're taking good care of your leaf blower. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. The leaf blower I'm demonstrating with today is an Echo PB265LN. No matter what make or model you have, the processes I'm about to show you will be very similar with maybe a few slight differences. First up is going to be the air filter, which is going to be keeping dirt and debris from getting into the engine, so making sure this is regularly cleaned is very important. On this blower, it is located on the side, so we'll just turn it around to access that. We'll just unscrew this and take the cover off. Some blowers are going to also have a pre-filter. This one just has a regular filter, but if you do have a pre-filter, the same rules apply. Check it and clean it the way you do the regular filter. You're going to want to check this before every use. If you're a landscaper and you're using this, all day, you don't need to check it before every job, just at the beginning of the day and then the beginning of the next day. So go ahead and inspect it. As you can see, ours is very clean, not much dirt to clean off at all. If it is dirty, you can go ahead and brush and clean that dirt off. Signs that it's time to replace it are if it's damaged, fuel soaked, very, very dirty, or if the rubber sealing edges are deformed. So either put your cleaned air filter on or your brand new one on, just in the reverse of the way that we took it off, place it back there and put the cover on over it. You're going to want to replace these on average every 3 months. Next thing is when a lot of people forget inspecting screws, nuts, and bolts. Your leaf blower vibrates a lot during use, and over time, screws and bolts can loosen. So just take a few minutes and inspect and see if there's anything that is loose. Obviously, if there is, go ahead and tighten that up. Just like with your air filter, you're going to want to do this before every use. Next, we're going to check the fuel tank. Old and stale fuel can cause performance issues, so it's always a good idea to use fresh, clean fuel. You can always check and just look at the condition of your fuel. And while you're doing that, you can check the fuel tank and make sure you don't see any cracks or any damages, anything that would be causing a leak. If that is the case, you're going to need to replace the fuel tank. You don't have to do this check before every use, but just make sure periodically you're checking the condition of your fuel and the fuel tank. It's a smart idea if you know your leaf blower doesn't get used super often. Whenever you do put fresh fuel in it, write that date down. And so if you're questioning whether you need to get rid of the old fuel, you can look at that date and make a decision based on that. Now we're going to check the spark plug. A worn or fouled out spark plug can cause poor performance and make it tough for your blower to start. This spark plug is located at the top here. So take your cover off and using your spark plug wrench, get that out of there. And you can take that out and we're going to inspect it, look for dirt or carbon buildup. If it's not too dirty, you can clean it off with a soft wire brush, but if it looks worn out, that's when you're going to need to replace it. Make sure you check your owner's manual to see what type of spark plug you need. And while you're doing that, make sure you check for the correct spacing. So we're going to check that, whether you're putting a new one on, make sure you check that, or if we're just putting this one back on, like I'm doing, we're still going to double check that spacing. Mine needs 0.65 millimeters, so I'm going to use my tool and just check that spacing there, and we're good. If you do need to adjust the spacing at all, just make sure you're really careful not to break off that piece, but we can go ahead and put it back on. So hand tighten it in there and use your wrench to get it all the way tight, and then put the cover back on. Perform this check every 3 months, but if your blower is having trouble starting or running properly, it's a good time to check the spark plug. Finally, let's check the fuel filter, which makes sure that your engine is getting clean fuel. So we're going to go ahead and take the cap off. I'm going to take it all the way out just so it's not in the way. And it's best to do this when your tank is really, really low or completely empty. Now take something with a hook to fish out the fuel line. Just make sure it's not sharp so you don't puncture the fuel line. But then that's when you go ahead and fish it out. Take it out and inspect it. Make sure it's not dirty. If you do need to change it, you would just pinch the fuel line and then grab and twist and pull it off, and then to put it back on, you'd still be holding onto the fuel line and push and twist it back on. But then ours is all good, so once you've either checked it or put the new one on, push it back into the tank and put your cap back on. At minimum, you will need to replace the fuel filter once a year, but it's a good idea to check it every 3 months. Since not every leaf blower is exactly the same, make sure to look at your owner's manual to see if there's any other maintenance your maker model requires that I did not cover in this video. And there you have it. By following these simple maintenance processes, you'll make sure your leaf blower and engine stay in top shape. Now, if you need things that we discussed, like an air filter, spark plugs, or even the new engine, you can either visit us online by clicking the link in the description, or give us a call today and someone from our team will help you get exactly what you need. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.